Welcome to Navigating Now. This is episode 239, a very special episode because today you will be a part of our Meet the Team series. And I'm so excited to be here alongside Hannah Fredrick. She is our design and marketing associate here at Thoughtium. For those who don't know, I'm Nicole Deal. I'm a senior consultant here at Thoughtium, and I'm just really excited to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's start with maybe one word for how you're coming in. What
Yeah.
kind of comes to mind?
I think a few words, I guess milestone is a big one to me. I
Sure.
feel like I've been here for like 4.5 months. And I feel like Meet the Team is something that every team member, it's kind of feels like a little bit like initiation,
Like
little
a rite
bit.
of passage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it feels like a kind of grounding, like I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the future.
Yay, exciting. Well, we'll talk about what you're doing here and what you're excited for within Thoughtium, the future of Thoughtium. But let's first start out with, so your role, design and marketing associate. In your own words, Hannah, how would you describe what you do on a day-to-day?
Yeah, I think a lot of what I do is, of course, design. So I'm working with Molly, who's so amazing, helping out with our client proposals, our own kind of slides, things like that. And then I'm also in person in our Chicago office, so handling any in-person experiences. I think is a really cool part of my role. And then lastly, setting up and kind of streamlining our Navigating Now weekly live stream. So it's cool. Usually I'm the one behind the scenes setting everything up. And then this week I'm in front of the camera.
Kind of weird to be in this seat.
Yeah. Usually I'm sitting, watching.
So you get to wear two hats, making sure
Exactly.
operationally this goes well. Secondly, you get to sit behind the microphone, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're also being a little humble and modest, I'll say, because not just Navigating Now, you're behind the scenes of, but you've been blowing up our presence on social media and LinkedIn, Instagram, just across the board. So maybe we hold on to that. So one, let's acknowledge she's doing a lot more than she says she does. First, though, let's kind of talk about what got you here. At Thoughtium, in this kind of role of design and marketing, did you already know that was a part of your path, in school? So take us back as far as you'd like to go, recognizing we have about 30 minutes, a lot to cover, but wherever you want to take us.
Yeah, I think I'll start out by saying this pathway was never something I clearly had in mind. I think if I think back to childhood, I was always pretty creative, I'd say. I was always drawing and painting. Actually thinking about this question, I remembered my first design project.
Oh, cool.
As a kid. I don't remember how young I was, but me and my siblings, we created our own little museum. It was mostly rocks, but it was cute. And so I created badges for us as curators out of note cards and used yarn to make a little lanyard.
Oh my God.
But
I didn't even know what a curator meant as a child too. Holy smokes, a self proclaimed curator, and you have your own design project with your family. That's pretty cool. Continue. Yes.
Yeah. But I think thinking back, things like that were obvious signs that this was kind of where the future was headed. And that's something a hobby I always saw as I continued to grow, but never something I saw specifically as a career path. So actually even out of high school, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until my freshman year of college, I think I had a completely different major, but I had mentioned to my advisor that I had always had a passion surrounding drawing and art. So he got me into an intro to graphic design class. And technically with my major, I wasn't even supposed to be there. But that was my first taste of graphic design.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You really took to it. And was it freshman year you said, okay, maybe I need a major change?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
cool.
I'm just not really loving the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's something that I had felt passionate about.
Yeah. And already had natural strengths in.
Exactly. Yeah. So being able to see that as a actual career possibility was really cool.
Neat. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's go back into whether it was your intro to graphic design or maybe one of your other courses. Was there maybe a project or just another sort of initiative that you got behind or that you led that you were really excited about? Okay.
Yeah, I think If I think about like college projects specifically, something that was really cool is what I would consider my first like client design
In college,
project. Yeah,
ahead of our time.
Yeah.
My gosh. Okay.
Our teacher, I think it was like graphic design too, but our teacher was really good at trying to bring in that real world experience. So we had a project where we would create an EP cover for one of the recording artists that was like working in the recording studio of our college.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool because we were able to get that in-person experience kind of where we met with the client. We're able to like understand their wants, their vision for the project, and then kind of work based like off of that. So that was really unique, and it was kind of like a competition a little among the students. So then eventually at the end the artist would choose like one cover to go with.
Okay.
Yeah, they chose mine.
They chose Hannah's. Wait, that's wild. Okay. And this is for a single for a song that they came up with.
Yeah.
And it's still out in like the ether. We
Yeah.
can listen to it right now.
Exactly. Yeah. I printed out a picture as like my show and tell.
Great. Let's see it. Oh my gosh. Show the people.
Also, it's just like the artist is really cool. So to plug that is cool. Okay. But this is.
Oh, it's like meta and abstract yet very. What's the headline of the picture?
The headline. Well, I'll headline it with the song title, which is "Miss You Already."
Okay.
So it's kind of like illustrative. It's supposed to tell a story of like heartbreak. Yeah, and those were kind of like the goals of the artist. So, yeah.
And that's so cool. You were chosen, and to like describe kind of the dynamic of you working alongside another student, it was like a low stakes environment, but yet you also got to like understand what it's like to work with a client.
Exactly. And I think that was really unique because previously I had always seen graphic design specifically as something you just do behind the computer. And like the introvert in me kind of loved that. I just get the project brief, I create it, I send it off, and that's the end.
Yeah.
But it's really a lot more of a collaborative process.
Yeah.
And like I think design in general is being able to listen, kind of like having empathy and understanding with the person you're creating something with.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is, more of a service job. Like you're creating something with someone.
Yeah.
So I think that really showed me like, or got me ready also for the professional world. Like, this isn't just a one-way street. These are conversations that we have. Yeah, so the interpersonal skill is really important.
I love that. So designing is not just for others, it's with others.
Exactly.
I love that. Co-designing. So that's kind of like your lens on design. When you think of like the word creativity, like how would you define that? And how does that show up like in your work right now at Thoughtium?
Yeah, I love that. I think creativity for me has always felt very like personal. I think oftentimes it feels a little elusive. I think it can be difficult having a job where your job is creative because you've defined that balance of like, for me, sometimes it feels like a finite resource. So I really have to know myself well to know like what things in my life can I do differently. So I'm really like focusing on creating more creativity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because do you find like you have to be in a certain headspace to kind of, I'm going to say like have this flow state in the lens of creativity?
Yeah. I think it's not just a flow state for me, but I can't put too much pressure on coming up with ideas in the moment. I have to let that kind of come to me. Let my mind kind of work through that on its own. And like when that happens is when I'm just like living life in general. Yeah. Like I feel like that's when a lot of inspiration comes. So it's important to do that. To not just be stuck.
So let's say like you're walking down the street and then this like idea comes to mind for like a client project, whether this has happened or not. Like, do you have something to turn to? Like, oh, I have this idea. I got to put it down somewhere. Do you have like I'm picturing like a little notebook in your back pocket, or what do you do with these ideas and inspiration as it comes?
Yeah, I wish it was something as like cool as a little notebook in my pocket. I might have to start.
Or like a little voice recorder. Like, okay, it's June, 20th. 10 Central. This idea just came to me walking to the, to the coffee shop.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a little more boring. I usually just put it in my notes app.
Okay. It's more efficient. You can pull your notes app off your work computer because we're Apple people here. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes like it's not even like a really actually baked idea. It's just like sketches.
Okay.
So I think it's helpful for that too.
Fascinating. So like your first draft is like a visual. Interesting. Very cool. So when you think of like the work that you're doing here at Thoughtium and kind of taking a look forward a bit, what are you like most excited for? Because you're starting to get into like more of the client exposure as
Mhm.
opposed to being like more of the behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So would love for you to kind of share your interest and excitement around like the client side and maybe more of like the internal and our social presence and so forth.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Those are all aspects I'm super excited about. I think I'll say to preface, like something that I really appreciate about Thoughtium, and I think that you can like see in our work is how serious design is taken.
Mm,
Um, and like because of that, I feel like my job is so special because the impact that you can have through design is like so big. So having a real precedent on that is like so
mhm.
important, and I feel like that's a huge differentiator for us. Um, I think like this might go a little off topic, but
That's okay. I'll reel it in if I need to.
perfect. I think working here, we talk about empathy a lot, and I kind of mentioned this a little before, but that's really a core value we have, seeing other people as people and treating them that way.
Mhm.
And I think design really comes into that process, because to me the core of design is empathy. If you think about like how much design really like is around us all the time,
Yeah.
it's really a tool, and it's how we navigate the world,
Yeah.
and how people intake information. So when it comes to creating something, you really have to step into someone else's shoes, and like have that empathy. I guess when I'm creating like a slide deck, I'm not just thinking about whether the slides look good. I'm thinking about who's the person who's going to be viewing these.
Mhm.
Like what attitude are they going to have coming into this? What
Mhm.
time of the day is it going to be?
Yeah.
And those kind of things help inform, yeah, what we create.
Yeah,
And I
there's
feel
so
like
much that
that,
goes
yeah,
behind it.
exactly, yeah.
Like learning preferences,
Mhm.
communication styles, a lot of that goes into like understanding the audience.
Mhm.
We were talking about like different let's call it environments like in the world that we've really picked up like a design eye for. For example, for me, like when I go into a museum, I just kind of notice like how well like the experience design is. And
Mhm.
like, you know, you'll have like a new exhibit and then it'll give like questions for those who are more curious or
Mhm.
headline statements with some more details and bullets for those who do want to go a little bit deeper.
Mhm.
And I just find like museums are a good example of how if you move when it's done well, you're like kind of just moving through and it's kind of you're like on autopilot in like a
Mhm.
good way, like you're
Exactly.
immersed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything like you would add, or maybe there's an environment that really stands out for you that's like, oh, they got the design
Mhm.
down really well?
That's a good question. I mean, I definitely agree. I think something that I've always thought about, and this is something they talked about in school even,
Mm-hmm.
that the best design often goes unnoticed.
Oh,
And that's because things are designed so well that it's just like so seamless.
yeah.
So it's not like a thought you have throughout the experience to be like to take you out because
Uh-huh.
it brings you in. Um, for me, it's less like a specific place. And when I think of like apps, like a
Yeah.
lot of user interfaces,
Sure.
and I think of DoorDash, but it's so like
As like a good example.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so like intuitive that like I press a button and I expect it to be there and it is there.
Uh-huh.
So I think of things like that. Yeah, I think that's a good kind of generalization about design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to DoorDash. This was not a paid advertisement. So you're welcome. That was just by choice. Great. Okay. Anything else, like let's say around like design you want to cover? Because I have kind of another area
Mhm.
topic of interest that the
Yeah.
people are looking and eager to unpack. Is there
Mhm.
anything else design wise that you want to bring forward?
I guess bringing Thoughtium more into it,
Sure.
and like how we take design so seriously, something that I really appreciated working here, and I think gets me excited as a designer is the opportunity to not just work within our own beautiful like branding style, but also be able to branch out and experience other companies or our clients' branding
Mm-hmm.
styles as well. I think that's always like an amazing opportunity, not only to see how other people do things,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's the challenge of creating something that feels like it was still made from within.
Mm-hmm.
I think design wise, that's really cool. I think I can also see that with our own practitioners and how we work with clients.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is the solution and we're giving it to you. It's
Yeah.
like we're working together
Yeah.
to come up with something that is actually going to make a difference. So seeing that pull through from how we treat each other, how we treat our clients, through how we even design things, that just really stands out to me.
It goes back to like what younger Hannah said around like designing with, not necessarily just for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, neat. And I think what's nice is like we help clients kind of find their own tone and brand if they don't really have one yet, or it's half baked, which I think is, to your point, a differentiator with Thoughtium, because, you know, sometimes companies are like, oh, another vendor, another consultant, they're just going to like give us this thing and we got to do something with it. But it's really important to us to show like we're just kind of enabling the company to make it their own, which I think builds more trust, lets the teams and like the learners be more connected in like to the content and whatever the learning experience is.
100%.
Oh, that's such a good point. Do you have any more in your back pocket? That was a good one.
I think that was the one.
Okay. You feel complete. I like it.
Yes.
If anything else comes to mind, bring it forward. So another topic of discussion. So this has been one that is just through the office walls here at Thoughtium, kind of on a regular, because you are our first Gen Zer in this space, which is a big deal because we are very aware of generational differences and how can we make a very inclusive environment where we're leaning on, you know, perspectives and just ways of being and just working and operating, recognizing there are like some nuances to generations and so forth. So would love for you to share with our viewers. Let's go with like one thing that, let's say society or like our culture at large gets right about Gen Z, and like what's maybe something that they get wrong that we have to like get the people straight on.
Yeah.
Whichever one you want to start first.
I'll start with what people get right.
Okay.
This is also from my perspective.
Sure.
So obviously it's not for everyone, but I think maybe a lower attention span is something that's pretty common. And I think that's interesting for us because as this new workforce comes in, it's like, okay, so how can I design around that?
Yeah.
Or how can I kind of adjust to that and what I create so that it's easier for people to like focus in or to intake information in a shorter amount of time.
Oh, I love that.
But that's something, at least I see within myself.
Well, and to be fair, it's like, it's because of the world that we live in now. There is just so much technology and just so much input that, you know, millennials, baby boomers, Gen X, like didn't have as much growing up. So it's not their fault, everybody. It is the society and just the space that we've created. And you guys are just trying to figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
And I also like that in your answer, you are providing a solution and an opportunity to how we can help Gen Zers with the attention span. I love that. Great answer. Okay. What is something like hot take of something that like the people are getting wrong that we need to voice?
Yeah. I think this is something that's kind of talked about often, but I see it as a misconception. And that's when it comes to, I feel like Gen Z's work ethic. I feel like there's a misconception that a lot of incoming young people are lazy or like not willing to do the work. And to me, that feels wrong. I think that something to think about is that we've gone through a lot of change. Every generation does, which is why when this question pops up, I think it's a good time to question like the ways we're working now. And think about like, are these ways of working really sustainable? I think oftentimes having like strict work boundaries or caring a lot about work-life balance, maybe people view that as being lazy or not willing to go the extra mile. But I think that that's really important to think about if we actually can care about our employees as people. And not just that, but even care about like the work that they're producing. I feel like if people are able to have that split and that break, then their work, I feel like that quality even can get better.
Quality can get better when you have your hands in more, I was going to say buckets, but you know, like you're not just focused fully on work. There are other things that fill you up and can energize you and can stimulate creativity that can then translate into work in some ways.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think witnessing past generations like give everything to their job and then like the burnout that can occur and like I feel like that's less productive than
Yeah.
having a good balance and being able to give more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I
that's
love that.
my hot
Well,
take.
and they were like we just started learning about like psychology and like mental health as more of a recent, and by recent, you know, in the past, let's say less than 100 years, you know, 50, there's probably some research of when it actually started.
Yeah.
But just to be fair, it's like different generations were trying their best, and what they knew was you had to hustle. The cult, that was the culture. You know, staying after hours was celebrated. And now as a just as like I'd say a society, we're recognizing the importance of mental health, having more balance. And it just so happens that you guys are just as much as aware and informed of what that could look like because you learned about it in school. And you were able to kind of create that for yourself during the pandemic. And that was like your first like step into the workforce, which is kind of wild. I'm like, you guys, because your first job coming out of school, were you virtual? Hybrid, in person?
I guess so. The pandemic kind of happened when like my junior year of college.
Yep.
But like the effects of that definitely were felt. So
Yeah.
my first job, we were in person, but we were one of the like out of all my friends, like hearing everyone else's job, I was like the only person who was like still in person.
Yeah, you were a unique case. Yeah.
But definitely more common to be either hybrid or just working from home. So I think that kind of ripple effect is like part of why people are questioning like what's actually necessary for us to get our best work done and to feel happy.
Yeah. Feel happy in and outside of the work because it's important. And I think what's also cool is the lens that you'll bring into our work is like helping our Gen Z like comrades, workforce to recognize the importance of connection and collaboration in person, because we do so much of our work in person, because a lot of our clients do recognize the benefits and just value of having like an in-person experience versus virtual. Both can be true, both have a lot of benefits, but I think knowing that there's a lot of folks in this generation where they haven't experienced it and they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So let's unpack it together. Am I right? Great. I love it. Okay, Hannah, for our close, I have a few, I'm going to call them lightning round questions because maybe they provoke like an answer right away. I'm known to have lightning round questions that kind of stump someone where it's like, shoot, let me think about that. So know that if you have to think about it, take your time.
Perfect.
Because this first one has a lot to do with, maybe I won't start there. Let's go a little bit easier. Reading, watching, listening to. What are you doing as of late?
Perfect. I think I just started a new audiobook. I've been like big into audiobooks.
Nice.
Just like during the commute, sometimes when I'm working.
Yep.
Because it's just a nice like input. But I've been reading Bunny by, I don't know if I remember the author.
I never remember the author.
I never remember the
just
author.
Doesn't stick. What's the headline? What's the book about?
Honestly, I'm confused about it. But
maybe she's too early in, folks.
But I think it's like dark academia, like a little weird.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland a little bit. There's some of that like wonder, some of that aspect. But yeah, it's like kind of a break from what I've been reading, because before that I was reading a lot about like just like people's lives.
Yeah. Like memoirs or biographies?
Memoirs, but also just like fiction of people's lives.
Yeah.
Just thinking about like day to day and thinking about how I live my life. So this is like kind of a break from that.
Yeah.
It's a little fantastical.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The other kind, it sounds like it can get a little too introspective and like apply it to yourself. That's what happens when you're in L&D. You end up finding that you have a lot of interest personally to read books around development, how to be better people. It's good to balance it.
Exactly.
With books that aren't in that realm. Both are great, but it's good you have some fantasy related genre that's in the ether. Cool. Okay. Let's then go to this next one. So you're able to design a billboard for one day. What does it look like? What does it say? I feel like if I were to have to answer this, I'd have to close my eyes and like visualize it. So if that's helpful for you, go for it. But yeah, you're designing a billboard. What does it look like?
That's a good question. I think okay, what comes to mind first is an example that I really like. Recently, Canva created some like kind of sales billboards, but I feel like it kind of extends what you would typically expect. Like they went outside the lines, they created something that like made the billboard like different shapes
Oh,
and like
cool.
felt more interactive. So I like that kind of aspect of like making something different than
Kind of
what
like
people expect it
come
to
off
be.
the billboard. Cool.
Exactly, more interactive. What would I put on my
Yeah. I
billboard?
feel like it's pictures, not words.
I think it would be pictures. I think it would be a picture of my cat.
Shout out to Rigatoni, right?
Pepperoni.
Shoot, Pepperoni.
That's gonna be his future brother.
Great.
It will be
Rigatoni coming
Yeah.
soon.
Yes. I think I'll just do a big picture of him. I've already made. I feel like being a graphic designer, it's like I have the skills to make whatever I want. So
At any point in time.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I recently made a calendar, and it's just like pepperoni themed. Every picture, every month.
Like based on, is it based on the holiday, the season?
It is based on the holiday.
Oh,
so I try to get different pictures of him.
Oh my gosh, that's
whether it's
great.
like in a Halloween costume, things like that.
Okay, maybe as homework, you're going to make calendars for, I shouldn't say this is loud because there's a lot of Thoughtium people in the office. I was going to say you can make calendars for like a Thoughtium team calendar of all of our tiny faces.
That'd be so cute.
I'm whispering now because I don't want other people to hear.
It's top secret.
Right. Top secret. You guys heard it here first. Okay. This is another kind of question around listening, watching, reading. When was the last time like you cried watching something, whether it was like happy tears or like, oh my gosh, this like is really tugging at my heartstrings?
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
The thing is, I cry so easily. I'll be like crying at commercials. So it doesn't take a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, it might have been a TikTok about someone making a TikTok about their dad or something.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like.
And TikToks, those are like at max 30 seconds. Or can they be longer?
They're a little longer now. You can do like full movies on there now.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy.
Okay.
But usually pretty short form content.
But an empath nonetheless, like the tears can come right away.
Yeah.
She really connects to the content, people.
It's all about empathy.
It's all about
design is empathy.
I love it. Okay, last question here. So I want you to think of a quality about yourself that you very much admire. So once you have it, let me know, but don't say it.
Okay.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay. So fill in the blanks and we're going to end it here. If the world were more like Hannah, it would be.
I think more patient.
Ooh.
Maybe. Yeah. I feel like I'm the type of person who I feel like things don't need to be rushed, especially if you're trying to create something. Like having that patience, like one for yourself and then also for the people around you is really important. And that's how actual like good work gets done. So
I love that.
Patience.
That's like so aligned with a mantra that I have had since the beginning of the year, and it's good things take time. And you can just be a preacher to the Gen Z and mainly like a lot of people in our society because everybody's in a rush, but recognizing like we do need to slow down. We do need to be patient. Good things come for those who wait and just are more intentional. And I feel that from you, the patience.
I love that.
So just keep on doing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, group. This was episode 239, a special episode here because we had Hannah Fredrick, our design and marketing associate here on our Meet the Team series. You can catch us every Thursday at thoughtium.com/live at 3 p.m. Central. We look forward to